Good everyone. Hope you're well. Welcome to Monday. It is a Monday. It's a new day. Hope you're well. Please like, share, subscribe, share with your mates. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything. And welcome to all of you who have joined us in our recent Black Friday and Cyber Monday deal. It's great to have you. Okay, I'm going to just do a couple of things here. I'm going to get rid of Uni. Is AVAX, yeah, AVAX is still in there. Terra's got to go in. That's Luna. LUNAPERP. Christmas time. Busy time of year. And a good time to be getting ourselves some lower priced crypto, eh? Okay, let me add this to that. Bingo. What else have I got to get rid of and pop on in? Dot's still there. Doge, yeah, AVAX. What else is there that needs to go? Looks pretty all right, I don't know. Anyway, I'll slide that up into there. That looks like we're pretty much in line. Now, we saw a massive sell-off on Saturday. And, man, it was big. I remember I was here in New South Wales. We had to go and do some. We had to vote. I don't know. I can't remember what the actual vote was for. But we had to go and vote. I have lived in Bondi. I now have a place in Bronte, and I've got a place in Centennial Park. So I went to all of those places. None of them said I was eligible to vote. So I spent 3 hours running around trying to do the right thing. And to be told, for some reason, I wasn't on the roll. So whilst I was doing this fall happened. Now, I had a look at my phone as I started to set off, and the market was down, 2%. Righto? 2-point-something%. And then it was down 10%. And about like half an hour, something very short amount of time, was down 20%. So, you know, we did see the market absolutely crap its stacks. Boo! Over 20% down it was at one stage. And really just massive fall. So yeah, it was a big drop. And some people that had limit orders in that were lower got good fills. And I wanted to go through today and just have a look at the structure of our weekly charts. Who in the top 10 survived and got through fairly unscathed, and who didn't, because I think that's an important factor for us to consider leading into the start of this week, and also to give you some perspective about these types of moves, especially if you are somewhat new to the digital asset and cryptocurrency space. Now, something else that I wanted to suggest as well is that with Bybit, we do have a program running there at the moment whereby you can get the Cradle course. It's all there as a recording, and all you need to do is open up and fund an account. Now, the link will be shared with you, and it will be in the description below here. So go ahead, and I think there's still a draw there for a prize. I may be wrong on that. They might have already drawn that, but you can get your Bybit account there and get access to that course, as well as Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Australian. I think it's daylight time. Anyway, 7 p.m. Sydney time. You'll get to see Lou, one of my apprentices who is now a full-time trader, go through and do a scan of all the Bybit products and point out trades for you, as well as watch list type videos that you will be able to take advantage of. So go ahead and register, get yourself your Bybit account, and we'll go from there. So what happened? Big fall. I'm going to use this particular chart because this one has a lot more data. Now we look at this and we go, holy doly, that is a massive fall. Did I see that coming? No, not at all. But when we look at it realistically, we've got a higher low here, higher high. This is still a higher low. Sure, it's super deep and it ain't that pretty, but it's there. It's still a higher low. Now, what does that mean? It just means that the trend's in play. Do I see an opportunity to go long here? No. But I'll tell you what I did do. I had on, I think I had the order in on Friday. I got filled on a position to exit on one of my investments, and it was a good profit. And what I've done is I've taken half of that profit and I bought myself another Bitcoin. Well, not quite another Bitcoin, but I got more Bitcoin. And I made that decision based upon my long-term beliefs of Bitcoin. I banked the rest as, stables, so I can use that for whatever I wish to use it for. I do have a very cautious portfolio management style where I always like to keep a fair old wedge on the sidelines, just for my sanity, so that when the markets do what they did on Saturday, I don't freak out. I'm like, well, I don't need that money. I have got plenty of stuff on the sidelines. I'm comfortable. Is this an opportunity for me to add to my portfolio? I saw it as an opportunity today. I've bought some Bitcoin and I'm comfortable with that for my long term. So I don't, look, if Bitcoin was to go to say, I don't know, 200 grand or something, if it was to get stupidly parabolic and go bananas, then yes, I would probably sell my Bitcoin and let it fall back eventually and buy more back in to multiply that stack. But for me, Bitcoin is my long-term asset, my long-term, it's like an investment portfolio play where I'll hold that for many, 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 many years in the hope that one day it's a form of currency that I can actually use frequently at most of the places that I go to just sort of, use it as an actual currency rather than having to convert it back to fiat and then use it. So I'm comfortable with that. I'm also comfortable if it falls further, I might buy some more, I'm not sure, but just giving you the heads up as to my thoughts around how I manage my portfolio. Now, here's what I wanted to show you, specifically on Bitcoin. 40% on the ding-a-ling. Bang on the nose. Now, how often does this happen? Well, it happened bigger in the last move. It was a much larger pullback here. Look, 56%. But that was also after what was a, nearly 6x move to the upside. So that was a big pullback. What I wanted to look at is the times in history where we've been in a bull run, and we really have to go back to 2017, where we were in that was the last roaring run, really. And just see, in a bull run, where can we pull back to and how far do we pull back? Now, if you have a look at the one back here, now I wasn't involved in the market at this stage, 40% over a number of weeks, and then we rocked back on, moving higher. The next one, this was when I really entered the market for the first time on Bitcoin with a decent amount. Again, about 40%. Two pullbacks in weekly uptrends, both of which accounted to a 40% pullback. Now, as I just showed you, we've just had a 40% pullback. Is this uncommon for Bitcoin to do? No. It's not something that happens all the time, but I would not suggest it to be uncommon. 20% is typically the number that we see when we have a pullback of like a quick snapback, 20 to 30, all right? That is what we've been seeing, and that's a real quick one. Another one there. But a bigger one can be 40%, and then often it moves a lot higher. Now, I'm not suggesting at all that this is what is going to occur. I am merely trying to look upon historical price action to see if there's anything I can gain from that to help me for two reasons. One, is this an opportunity for me to pick up more Bitcoin? And I've come to the conclusion that for me, my personal situation and circumstances, yeah, it's fine, it's good. I'm happy to buy that. Not lots, but enough that I'm comfortable that I'm building that stack long term. Two, I also just wanted to have it for my own mental capacity to be able to go, just another one of these things that happen. And that's where I'm at currently. So Bitcoin is still on a weekly uptrend. Let's look at the monthly. What does that tell us? Not a great deal, to be honest. We saw a couple of month pullback through here. Then we steadied the ship and we pushed on to all-time highs. Now, be it they weren't very large all-time highs, we did get it. Now, the reality is, do I think we're going to see Bitcoin over 100,000 this year? Not at the moment, no. It would take an enormous move for that to occur. And with the world the way it is at the moment, there's this new virus thing, mutation or strand or strain or whatever you want to call it. It appears that no one's died of it and no one seems to be getting that sick with it at the moment. We're not quite sure about it just yet. But the fear that it's creating is certainly affecting markets. It's certainly affected our market. We saw the first big dip over here based on that. That was an 8% move. Then we saw this come off even further. Now, I'm not sure what this was. If it was more fear, given that more countries are now locking out, countries that have got it. The whole world's got it. And it appears that hopefully everyone gets it, doesn't really get that sick, and then everyone's got somewhat immunity. That'd be great. I mean, that's me being as positive as I can possibly be. But we don't know. And whilst the picture, is created and unfolds, we may see a lot more volatility on our charts. So am I looking for longs right now? Am I looking for shorts right now? I'm not really looking for too much, to be fair. There is a bit of a level starting to build in here on Bitcoin. Am I going to be looking for a long there? Well, I kind of already have played out a long by buying some Bitcoin. Simple as that. Aside from that, not really, no. High volatility times for me with a market that looks like it does currently on Bitcoin. It's not a market that I really want to participate in too heavily. It's a market that can chop you in and chop you out. It's a good time to be learning, a good time to be drawing in your support and resistance levels that are of significance across your chart so that you are aware of points at which you can buy and sell or trade from. But other than that, I'm watching. Now, Ethereum's a different story. Oh, I'm sorry. By the way, one thing I wanted to do here is show you, because it rebounded extraordinarily fast. 17% we rebounded back to only close down. Oops. Come on. 8.2. So in fact, this candle here closed down more than this one here because of that amazing bounce back. 17% on the bounce back, 8% down. Ethereum, on the other hand, was down 2%. Having bounced nearly 20%. Ethereum, look at the weekly chart here. I know it's messy. I mean, geez Louise, look at the size of this puppy. That candle from top to bottom, the volatility was massive. But the week only closed down 2.2%. The uptrend is still very much in play. And I'd say that given what we've just been through and what we've experienced, not just over the Saturday sell-off, but also look at Bitcoin. It's been selling off for weeks. Look at Ethereum. It's sold off, but nothing like what Bitcoin has. Ethereum seems to be the stronger crypto at the moment, and you can see that reflected on a very beautiful chart on the ETHBTC chart on the daily. Ethereum is gaining market capitalization over Bitcoin at the moment. It's very, very clear to see that on the ETH Bitcoin chart. As a matter of fact, let's just have a look at it, because it is the two big dogs facing off against each other. Hurry up there, TradingView. And if you've just joined, please do use the link below to get yourself your bybit account and get yourself stuck into the education that we've got there. So you can see here, look, beautiful, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. Really strong trend. Really strong trend after obviously a really good run up through here. Bit messy for a while, but the trend is really in motion on Ethereum, Bitcoin as we speak. With Ethereum having bounced so well and still being well within its weekly trend currently right now, that means we've got Bitcoin still on a weekly trend, not broken, and Ethereum still on a weekly trend, not broken. Now, the two of these collectively have a market cap of, let's call it 1.4 trillion. That's 1.4 trillion out of 2.2 trillion whole market cap. They equate to more than half, more than 50% of the entire market cap is held between Ethereum and Bitcoin. So whilst we look at the rest of the market that has had a big fall, and all the markets have had a big fall, apart from maybe a couple, okay? The majority of the markets have tanked really, really hard. We still have our two big dogs that are still holding their ground after having a very, very, very large bounce. Oops. So as much as it's a messy chart here on the daily, again, zooming out onto the weekly, we're still very much in an uptrend. It's messy as sin, but it's there. On XRP, well, it's had another shocking week. Down 17%, let's call that. And you can see here, there was a big rebound. Have a look at this. Down at 60 cents. If you had had a limit order down there, you'd be at 40% by the end of the day. That being said, the day did close down 8%. At one stage, however, we were down like 34, 35%. What do these big bounces tell us? They tell us that people came back into the market to buy. Now, you probably go out there and be able to look on the news websites and whatnot and see a great deal of articles and whatnot about whales buying. That would be my guess. That would be my guess. All right. Is that good for the market? Well, it's definitely a heck of a lot better than it closing all the way down here, isn't it? XRP was in a downtrend. There was a bearish candle right here. Now, why didn't I short that? I'll tell you why I didn't short that. Because the 2-day didn't have a clean enough downtrend. Now, some people will have taken that. I didn't, because it didn't fit the rules. All right? So there was nothing there for me, and there's nothing there for me now either. As you can see, it is all over the place right now. And again, this is not a chart that I'm all that interested in from a trading point of view at this stage. We do, however, have a big fall. We have dipped now from that $1.35 or whatever it is. There it is. We've been down 50 odd percent. We're currently down 41% from that high point of the most recent move higher, which was back in November. It's not looking real good for XRP, but that is what it is. On to DOT. Now, this is also in a very strong downtrend. If you have a look at DOT now, it has been going down for quite some time. If I take you to the weekly, it's sort of dusted that chart now. We had a higher low, pushed onto all-time highs to a higher high, and since then has been absolutely pummeled by about 50%. There it is, 50. DOT not looking so good right now when it comes to the chart structure. We have had 4 consecutive weeks where we have been down significantly. Nearly every week has been down double digits. Now, that doesn't mean DOT will not recover. It just means it's copping an absolute beating. But if you look here, it's back into the monthly cradle zone where it did last time. So we can always move out our time frames to see and get perspective. So DOT definitely not in a good position. Doge, well, Doge is being hammered, but that's not been really that much of a surprise. I don't know why I just beef with Doge. I guess it's just because of what it was, and maybe it's becoming something more. Maybe it's growing up. I don't know. It's not a project that I really put that much time into. But you can see again, we've had 5 weeks selling off on Doge, and the monthly is a messy monthly, very much consolidated through here. But we are into that monthly cradle zone, so there is a time frame where we are in a good place. Binance pretty much held its ground, and again, one of the big dogs. I mean, if we talk about market cap, we got Binance at number 3 with 90 billion. Bitcoin, still holding its weekly uptrend. Ethereum, still holding its weekly uptrend. Binance, still holding its weekly uptrend. The top 3 now have still held their weekly uptrends. What does this mean? It means that they have held their weekly uptrends. That's all it means. The 3 biggest market cap projects out there have held their weekly uptrends. The daily chart is an absolute mess. I would not be interested in trading that long or short at the moment. I will, however, keep an eye on these lower time frames across all of these top 10s. Why? Well, if we start to dip lower and we start to get some good trends and cyclicity, it's little pullbacks like this that can turn out to be very, very large profits. And this is the beauty of being a margin trader as opposed to just a buy and hold. Now, I do both. If I can take advantage of a downward movement and there's a good enough trend, then I certainly will. And I want to show you exactly why. Let's just use this as an example. Now, I'm not suggesting that this is exactly a trade. I'm just showing you for the example's purpose. Entry and stop like that. Let's say I get that much of the move. That's a 25-to-1 reward risk ratio. You can make some very, very, very good money whether the market goes up or down. It's when it's sideways that it's very much more difficult. So if I can start to see the trend start to come in, whether we start to move lower or higher, it'll be the lower time frames that I'll be focusing my attention on, looking for little gems. Cardano. Now, Cardano is approaching a significant price point, and I'll show it to you on the weekly. Obviously, it's been getting clobbered for a while. Look at the weekly. $1 has held very, very, very strong, and I am currently considering putting in an order for Cardano at about $1.05 with a no stop loss. It'll be spot only. Why? Because the $1 has held very well. I have no exposure to Cardano. It has had a very, very strong rise, and since then a very, very strong fall. Let's have a look at just how far. We are down 56%. Now, just remember this. From where we are now, for it to get back to all-time highs, 56% down equates to 130% back up. That's how things work. That's how percentages work, okay? But it has fallen away. I'm not a real fan of the chart, but I am looking at this as a potential limit order, just so if I can get a sneaky bounce off $1, I may just take that. Back into the cradle zone on the monthly. The weekly is definitely a very, very messy chart, and we'll drop lower now and just consult what's going on. As you can see, up, down, lower, high, higher, low. Who knows where it's going? It's just a mess. Solana. Now, Solana's market cap is actually at number 5 because US dollar tether is just ahead of it. Now let's have a look at Solana's trend. Higher low, higher high, back into the cradle zone. Last week down 2%. After all that craziness, closed down only 2.1%. Number 5. Let's call it number 4 because it's actually a project. Number 4 of our market cap, sitting in there at 57 billion, is Solana. It too is in an uptrend on the weekly, largely unchanged. Look at that chart. I mean, it's still got a long way to go to get back into the realms of monthly. But look at the weekly, which is what the trends are. Well, I am focusing on at the moment because those are trends that are still in play. 1, 2, 3, and 4 projects in the top 10 are in weekly uptrends. So, what am I doing with Solana right now? Sweet FA. Why? Look how messy it is. AVAX. AVAX is down further at number 12, which is actually number 10 to be fair, because there's there's USD coin and there's Tether that are inside of that top 10. So AVAX, unfortunately for AVAX holders, has had a barnstorming run, but also it's come off quite heavily. Let's look at the weekly, however, and see where we are. Another top 10 that is in the cradle zone on the weekly. Now, if you're somebody who likes to have these sorts of moves to the upside, 186% over the space of 6 or 7 weeks, you're also somebody that's going to have to understand that we can also see 50% pullbacks in the space of a couple of weeks as well. What do they say? If you don't deserve me on my good days, if you can't love me on my bad days, or something like that. This is our market. This is what it does. It is extraordinarily volatile. This brings opportunity for hodlers, for people that want to invest long term and hold. These are the times to be buying. I'm not suggesting that this now today is the time to buy. That is not my objective. What I'm saying is buying on pullbacks is exactly how I trade. It's also how I look to invest. I would rather be buying on a pullback, and you'll be sure as hell to get one, than buying on a move like this. I will trade a move like this, and I will trade a move like this. Why? Because I trade long and I trade short, and I can make money in either direction. I can also hedge myself with my portfolio. And the fact of the matter is, AVAX has a lower high and a lower low, so therefore is in a daily downtrend, but the weekly is still just fine. I was watching this level this morning. It did not set up for a trade. Once again, if we start to see this cycle to new lows, I will have enough cyclicity to start looking for shorts. And finally, Luna. Geez Louise. This thing just went crazy. Have a look at this from low to high. 54 or 55%. That's out of this world. It closed up on the day when most projects were heavily down. It was up 18%, recovering from its lows 55%. What does that tell me? It tells me that people would like to buy this project. As far as the weekly goes, ain't nothing wrong. Pulled back into the weekly cradle last week and now explosively moved higher. What am I doing with Terra? With Luna, sorry? Not much at all. It actually looks pretty good on the Luna BTC chart. I'll show you actually. I'll just pop it up here. Look at this cyclicity. Ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding. We're back in. Little bullish candle here may just offer me a great opportunity. And if you want to know what that cradle strategy is, well, there's 2 options really. You can just go and buy the course, get stuck in to become a master course, or you can register for your Bybit trading account, fund that, and you can get the whole 4-part series, as well as plenty of other content from Lou doing scans, taking you through the lists, showing you his watch lists, and involving you in his trading journey and adding to your trading journey. So guys, that's my take on the top 10. A little bit longer than normal today, simply because there's been a lot going on, and I wanted to give some real perspective on what is happening within our markets at the moment. Keep your cool. It's all part of the process. If you are freaking out, then you really need to question, are you managing your risk correctly? Have you been taking profits along the way at points in which you have the opportunity to do so? And if not, well, you need to learn that. You know what to do. Have a great day. Bye for now.